Welcome back, guys. Another episode of Ghetto Rig podcast, but we're joining with some guests today. However, what episode are we in, Miggy? Help here. 244. Okay, cool. So my name is Jay. All the way to my right is my co-host Eddie, and then Miggy behind the camera doing the computer, doing his thing. He's actually doing it really well. He didn't forget any cameras. He hooked it all up, and he's doing pretty good. He's earning his points back.
We did quite an amount of adjustments today to get everything to fit in here.
So today we have on a couch, guys. On a couch.
That sounds weird, man.
Pause.
That sounds
weird. We have Nick Fekete and Yuri Simo. As a matter of fact, guys, we've been talking to the guys, and there is some surprise. I don't know if we want to reveal it just yet, but there's some things brewing in the background where
you're gonna be seeing these guys more often coming in here.
A lot more often. Yeah. So these guys are basically becoming a part of the deal, right? Anyway, so guys, very quickly, Yuri, kind of quickly, a couple of words about yourself, and then we'll go with Nick. Nothing crazy, and then go from there.
About myself, hello everyone. Yuri Simões. I think this is my third participation here on the podcast.
He definitely gets the stars of participation trophies for sure.
We send him gold stars.
Gold stars.
Yeah. So I was telling Jay, I usually don't really like podcasts, but since the first time I came here, I felt very comfortable. I mean, you guys are already my friends, so I think that makes everything smoother, and I'm actually enjoying this. So
that's good.
Thanks for having me.
It is a really comfortable environment.
Yeah, it's nice. It being at the house too. You got the parents when you come in offering you food and stuff. It's different, right?
It's different vibes. Yeah.
But yeah, we appreciate you guys coming here. So
Nick.
Thank you, Nick.
Oh, what's up, guys? Nick Fekete. I was here last time.
Yeah, about a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, with Yuri, and part of the UFC gym, Tampa Bay family with these guys.
Oh, yeah, I'm glad he mentioned that. By the way, shout out to our sponsors, UFC Gym, Largo, and Pinellas Park, also Vitality. Get that out of the way. Now, we got a couple of things that are happening, right? Well, number one was Hogan, right? That was kind of...
that was all of a sudden. That was today. Actually, this morning I saw...
What was the cause of his death?
My boss was looking at it when we were on the way back from our shoot. I think he said... Because I had heard some other... cardiac arrest. That's what the last thing I heard. But a lot of people were saying like different things. Like I heard something about him being in a coma and something about his brain, but apparently it was cardiac arrest. It's like
and I didn't believe it at first when I saw it. I was like, it's probably another bullshit on social media. They're trying to likes and comments, stuff.
Yeah, they
and then
doing
everyone started posting that.
When did that start? Who was the first fake celebrity death?
Yeah, you look that up real quick.
And it's sad that I'm asking that question
because we Ben Askren was dead too. And then found out
that happened too.
I was scared, and then we find out that
and
he was. And
it's sad because I'm asking this question when two actual.
Ben Askren is pretty bad. Have you seen him, bro?
Yeah, but he recovered. But I saw people were posting that he died or something. Yeah. That's messed up.
Didn't he have a double lung transplant or something like that? That's crazy.
He finally is going home. I saw he posted the video a couple days ago.
Bro, did you see that? I think he's he lost 60 pounds or something crazy. Yeah. He looks like.
Yeah. He was down 130 pounds.
130 pounds?
Yeah.
Even.
But he already received a transplant, right?
Yeah, he received a transplant, and it's looking to be.
But Hogan, I met him in person. He used to come a lot to the. Back in the day, I used to do valet, and he would come there a lot, man. One of the nicest guys. You would think, being a celebrity, some celebrities are very standoffish, but he was always cool about it, And he would, he was one of the few people that had a SRT Dodge, the Demon. And he would not Demon, but the Hellcat. And when he brought it for the first time, I was like, "Oh man, you got the Hellcat? That's so cool." He's like, "Yeah, brother, take it for a ride." You know what I mean?
Give some context of how long ago was it that you were doing valet? Because it's a long time ago. Yeah, when the Hellcats were first a thing, basically.
Yeah, when the Hellcats first came out, I'm talking about 10 years or so. That's when I first met him. Met him actually in person. I had conversations and stuff like that, shaking hands and stuff like that. So he's super cool. And then he either it was such a contrast, right? He would come in with the Hellcat or would come in on scooters, on these Vespas,
A Vespa?
On a Vespa, bro. He's this big dude, he's 6 something, 6'5", huge, 250, 260 on a Vespa, some out of the movie,
Is he not the biggest, one of the biggest people you've ever seen in your life?
Yeah, he's huge.
He's proportional too. Right?
Yeah. Even after he stopped doing the wrestling, when you kind of shrink, you're not back at that. He was still pretty big,
Yeah,
like a big structure.
I mean, yeah, I saw him when he was last year. Probably was so he passed away at 71, so at 70, dude is still huge, bulked up. I mean, like you're saying, proportional to his size, like to his height, it's huge.
Person. I met him at a supermarket in Clearwater called Nature's Food Patch, which is like a Scientology
Okay.
kind of, you know, it's the Scientologists are really big into like healthy food.
Do you know about this, Yuri?
The religion, the Tom
Scientology.
Cruise religion.
Yeah.
We'll get into
Yeah, we'll get into this, bro. You don't know this yet.
I
Oh
would
shit,
shop-
we
I
gotta
would
show you
shop at
things
this
around
place.
here.
Because you know, over by the beaches, there's not like anywhere you can't get to anywhere. It takes a half an hour to get to Whole Foods or anything. So, Nature's Food Patch is like a mini Whole Foods, and I was in there, you know, like, and all of a sudden I just saw him, and I like froze for a second. I was like, oh, and I kind of looked away, and then I don't know if he saw my ears or whatever, and I was with my son, and he came over and talked to me. And he's like, "What's up, brother? How you doing?" And he introduced himself as Terry.
Yeah.
He didn't say I'm Hulk or anything like that. He's like, "I'm Terry."
Yeah. He would just always say Terry. Yeah. Yeah, the super nice guy. And you guys are not small. You both of you are pretty tall guys, and he's like even taller.
Yeah,
like,
he's a head and shoulders taller.
how's it feel finally to meet somebody that's taller than you guys, huh? That's how I always look up to. now they in my shoes, huh? Oh shit! But
no, he's
super
dead.
nice guy.
Super nice guy, and yeah, the Scientology place like that it was like a nice restaurant, you know. But you ever been to you've been to downtown Clearwater, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
bro. Downtown Clearwater is something to see because the Scientology Center is in downtown Clearwater, and Scientology is this like odd religion that basically like the gist of it is that basically like Jesus is alien and he's gonna come down in a spaceship and take everybody with him to this
So it's
new
like
planet.
basically
It's
another.
still big.
It's basically another interpretation of the Bible, like.
Well, what's his name? What's the guy's
L.
name?
Ron
Hubbard.
L. Ron
It's
Hubbard.
a pretty far.
He was like a scientist.
Oh,
or
but
some
is it
shit,
like?
right?
Do they even
So
believe
his
it's
story-
actually
so I did a
Jesus?
little bit of research on this one, especially once I moved here and
Yeah.
I found out about it. So L. Ron Hubbard, I mean, born in Montana, I guess he was a really smart guy, but he had a really dysfunctional upbringing. He was a sea captain allegedly during World War II. That's why all their shit is like based around like the ocean. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's called like clear water. Like God, I can't even think of it. A lot of their Sea Org is the name of part of like one of their branches or whatever. But basically, he took a lot of spiritual teachings. Like he studied with like Aleister Crowley, I guess if you've ever heard of Aleister Crowley. And basically, he took like all stuff that we think of as like spirits and you know things like that, and he added a science fiction bent on it.
Okay.
And before that, he even was like a Pulp Fiction writer.
Okay.
Yeah. So he wrote science fiction stuff, but then he just created his own religion one day, essentially. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So-
Well, this because technically this is it's not considered religion, right? Like it's considered a sect, right? Like I mean, what's the best way to earn money, right? I guess you know what I'm saying. But that, like, if you think about it, now if I
But
was
did he had a vision or something? Like what
All kinds of
inspired him to create this religion? You know, there must be like a reason
Yeah.
why.
I'm
Just
sure
money?
there's a story behind it. I'm sure like
Yeah.
he said I saw a dream or some shit. Like he
Yeah.
had to have started somewhere. But to me, like, you know, looking at it from the financial point of view, like if you're super rich, that makes a whole lot of sense to join this religion, right?
Why?
Because you join the religion and you say, hey, now this is I'm not saying that this is happening nor this is a financial advice to viewers, right? Like you join this shit and you say, hey, this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna donate money to the Scientology church. But I'm gonna write that I donated 50 million, but in reality, I'm gonna give you only 5. You cool with that? Okay, great. Here's your 5. You write on the paper that I gave 50.
It's money laundering.
It's money laundering. So he moves the 50. 45 goes to another offshore account. 5 stays with them, pays off. Now you're paying taxes less, and you don't have to worry about paying taxes on $50 million, which you get taxed at 40%.
Can I donate like 500 and tell them for them to write it like a $50,000?
I mean,
You have to probably join.
Oh,
you know what's the funny?
I'm having like I'm thinking like I'm having like a spiritual awakening towards Scientology right now.
Scientology. Bro, this is so funny because I'm talking about like 15, 20 years maybe back. Oleg, you met Oleg, right?
Yeah.
Oleg phones me one day. He's like, hey, bro, I met these Russian girls. Come out with me. You know, like she has a friend. She lives with a friend. Come out with me. They're from Kazakhstan or Kyrgyzstan, one of those countries. I'm like, the fuck are they doing there? He's like, I don't know, bro. They're going to some school here. So we go there. And these girls apparently were recruited from Kyrgyzstan or Kazakhstan to come to the Scientology church to their school. And these girls each back 20 years ago paid $40,000 to this church to take their classes. And the crazy part is, like, if you approach them, you see them walking. If you approach them,
But was that
they
maybe
won't talk to you.
but was that maybe like a way for them to get a visa or access to the U.S.?
No, they were just just down here for the school.
You might start to learn a little more. It's especially in Clearwater, Largo area.
That's their headquarters.
They have a lot of spots there. Yeah, I remember when I was working there for the Largo gym during pre-sale, and I was going around selling, and I would see a place, and usually before even going in, I would look up if I didn't know what it was, and I wanted to go in, I would look up and see what it is, and I found a few of those places, and I was okay. That's kind of like often you find them pretty often around here.
Yeah, the entire downtown
They're
Clearwater.
differently too. They're not all Scientology.
Yeah.
There's like Sea Org. There's a whole.
But
bunch
once
of
you start to
Dianetics.
see them often enough, and you understand the look of the buildings, you can kind of start to point them out when you go around.
There's literally, like, downtown Clearwater, half of downtown Clearwater belongs to them. Like, all those pretty buildings you see in downtown Clearwater is all theirs. Like, they literally, like, bought this shit out. Like, that's all theirs. And then there's, like, stories that these connected through tunnels and everything, which I don't think it is, because it's Clearwater, it's below sea level. Like, how the fuck are you going to connect them through tunnels? You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that exists.
You can't dig like
That town
more than
is
5
crazy,
feet
though.
there.
It's so
Yeah.
dead down there too. There's nothing going on.
There-
There's
yeah,
no bars,
and-
there's no alcohol. They don't drink.
Is there any like similarities of that in the Mormons or
a little
something?
bit?
A little
There's
bit.
a connection too.
There's a connection.
Yeah, a little
right?
bit.
there's
That
100%
much-
Because he came from
Missouri.
Montana. He was kind of like Mormonish, right? Like, or he had some sort of a...
I'm sure he knew who Mormons were, but so I did a real deep dive on this.
Isn't Mormons also like don't they also believe there's some like their God is gonna come through like I don't know like kind of like alien that
Kind of.
knowledge?
They believe in angels. So their thing was, so Joseph Smith was the founder of Mormonism. And the connection between Joseph Smith and Aleister Crowley and this guy goes back to a guy named John Dee. If you look up John Dee was this 15th century scholar who was like a, how do I say it? He was a mathematician, scientist, shipbuilder.
Was he one of the
architecture.
Rockefellers?
No, John D-E-E. John D-E-E, yeah. And so basically what he did was he was a man of science, but he also was an astrologer, numerology. He created a mathematical language and a vibrational language to speak to the angels.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So,
Wait, how did he do that? Like he said, he actually talked to angels.
So
I need
there's a
to
whole
look
story.
this up, bro.
Yeah,
This is
so
great.
it's a crazy story. So the whole story is he wasn't like psychic himself, or whatever the word they used back then. But this is where the origin of like crystal balls came from.
Well, remember, in 1500s, they were killing people like that. Like,
Yeah.
didn't
Yeah,
the witch hunt
witchcraft,
witch hunt
He was
happen?
protected though because they had just rebelled from the Catholic Church.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, this is the Protestant.
Protestant,
Reformation.
I'm like Martin Luther.
Martin
and
Luther,
stuff.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Luther,
anyway,
yeah.
the connection was he created this whole system, and then the Scientologists basically I'm sorry, not the Scientologists. Crowley followed John Dee's system, and it's kind of hard to explain. There's like levels, like 33 levels. They're called aethers that you have to follow spiritually. Except that when Hubbard took it
God
over.
damn, you did a rabbit hole on this shit,
I know,
didn't you?
man, I really did. He just changed it over to like science fiction, and I'm butchering this a little bit, but that's basically what it is. He changed it into like, instead of being like spirits and angels, it was like, interdimensional beings and aliens.
So he
Okay,
was
makes
talking
sense.
about the Matrix back in 1500s already.
Exactly. 100, yeah.
Or they're just talking about Antarctica, how they got some signal, something from Antarctica. You saw that?
I've heard
And
about
it
that,
could
yeah.
be like interdimensional beings and stuff, but there's a lot of talk
There's
about
stories,
that.
there's
Yeah,
just-
because like we're talking about aliens now. Yuri believes that aliens are here. I'm on a complete opposite end. I think that they're not here.
when you say
I
aliens,
have a
do you
video
think,
for
do you
you.
think of aliens like
Oh, you're talking about aliens like I'm talking about intelligent life.
we talking like 3D beings that are here on Earth with us, or do you mean like could it
Both.
be?
I think
Okay.
there's like intelligent beings that could be humanoids. There could be these guys as humans. I believe that there are like beings from other dimensions. I believe in all this. It goes back to that simulation stuff,
Yeah.
like multi-dimensions, multi-universe.
The multiverse. Yeah.
How do you know? Like we're very limited as beings. So how do we know that if there's someone or some living being, there's like they can use 20% more of their brain than we do, we don't even know how to comprehend how that is, and we're like stuck onto our limitations, like what we can see, like our laws of physics and stuff, they get debunked all the time. So things get changed all the time. So like we assume that we know everything, but like there could be other civilizations, other beings that are looking at us like worms. So I think that, like, I think when you look at the size of the universe, the size of the observable universe compared to the actual universe is, I saw that there's a calculus for that. And the size of the universe, the actual universe, compared to what we observe is comparing like a light bulb to Pluto. The size of the universe that we perceive, that we observe, is the size of a light bulb. The actual size of the universe is the size of Pluto. So our own universe is like almost way bigger than what we think it is. Imagine if there's like unlimited amount of universe. What are the odds? You think it's just us here? I think it makes less sense to know. No. Oh, you're thinking that you're talking about there being here.
Here.
Yeah.
I think so. I think like for someone, look, we're talking about warp. Now we're like trying to figure out warp drive machine and like time travel, teleportation, all this stuff. What if there are civilizations that existed millions of years before us and they already got all of that figured out, and things that we cannot even comprehend? This is what we're like on the edge of, not in the edge of achieving, but we already, there's also calculus on how to get to that point and stuff, and people are trying to put that into reality. But what about things that we don't even know that is possible yet? And what if, like, if we're talking about something more intelligent to us, we cannot limit that to what we can, to what we know. They could be way more advanced. For them to get to here and to get to Andromeda, another galaxy, it could be like effortless. It could like do that no problem. So why not? You know, like, why? It could be. I think there are other intelligent beings. I think there are way more intelligent beings, a little bit more intelligent beings, dumb beings like bacteria and stuff. That's also like extraterrestrial life. So
let me ask you this. Now, do you think if let's say that's happening and they're whatever, like traveling back and forth, right? Do you think they get involved with our lives? Like, do you think they get involved within our, like, I don't want to say politics, but like, do you think they get involved?
They can influence our society.
Influence our society in one way or another.
I think they could.
I think there's a lot of theories on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a lot of theories on it.
I mean, listen, man. Even just the whole angels and demons sort of perspective of it, this old-fashioned thing.
Anunnaki are going to go into the Anunnaki
there
stuff.
There we go, yeah, the Anunnaki. With the angels and demons, like, so the angels and demons, they're like ethereal beings. They're not 3D, right? They're multi-dimensional. Whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
I don't even know. They're not solid.
Yeah, you can't touch it, yeah.
But, you know, I mean, we can talk about psychoses and things, and there's an argument. Psychoses could be a form of, I don't know.
An actual like talent, like not a talent, but like a thing you can develop to connect to.
Well, the Rogan is talking about taking mushrooms, right? And then like that puts him in a certain state after you take the mushroom. Yeah.
Well, here's another one. So even like people that do the DMT.
DMT, yeah.
So like Rick Strassman this is the only scientific study that we've done on DMT was by a guy named Rick Strassman. And it was so DMT is dimethyltryptamine. Have any of you guys ever done DMT?
Never done, but there's DMT and then there's 5-MO DMT, which they say it's DMT on steroids. And a good friend of mine, Robert Owens in Washington, he does that. He brings a shaman, he brings a person like a nurse, and he does that with the closer people. He does that experience. He said he only did that once. His friend, forgot the name of his friend, but he's also a black belt. He did that, and I asked him, what is that like, you know? Because I'm not there yet to do that. I'm definitely interested to do that at some point in my life, but a lot of it has to do with the death of ego and stuff, and I'm not really ready to have that diet because I want to compete. So I think like there's a correlation of ego and competition, but at some point I want to do that. But he was saying if he could compound his 44 years of life, something like that, into 5 to 10 minutes of a trip, which is the time that it lasts, he said that his whole life wouldn't even make justice of how intense that was and like how much you see.
5 minutes, he lived
5,
like
10 minutes.
40 lives, 40
No,
years
the intensity of those 10 minutes are way beyond of what he lived his whole life. That was the craziest thing by far, by way by far. that he had ever experienced in his life. That's what he described. And like everybody that I talked to said, is like there's nothing that can compare to that.
So the 5-MeO, it comes from the toad.
Toad.
Right?
They get in Arizona.
They crystallize it and they smoke it. But the other DMT, I think that comes from
ayahuasca.
Tree. Well, ayahuasca is part of it.
Also iboga. There's many teas. There's many plants that do that. Yeah.
But this guy's study, Strassman's study, he was injecting it, and this adds to what you were saying. They were injecting it into people, and they all pretty much had the same fucking hallucination. It talks about like you inject it, you close your eyes, and all of a sudden everything breaks into fractals, and then you blast off into someplace, and then you run into essentially sentient beings.
Like entities
aliens,
or whatever.
Entities or something like that. Yeah, entities that are communicating with you and giving you downloads and things like that.
So if this was a simulation, do you think that's like the side quest that you kind of like break through? Like that's the DLC package that you just bought, you know? That's the new DLC. Skin, you know what I mean?
It's possible with the side quest. It's possible that might be like, you know, with the Christian, like the Well of Souls or something. It could be.
It's interesting though that people describe the same experience and the same sensation.
Very similar, not exactly the same.
I've heard about that study.
You know,
but I think the deeper meaning, the deeper lesson you get from it, it's very similar one to another.
Well, exactly, but what's crazy though is that DMT exists allegedly in all living beings.
Yes, but our stomach breaks down that stuff. Yeah.
Allegedly, it exists. I mean, I don't know if this is pseudoscience or not, but in the pineal gland.
Yes, it's everything in the universe has DMT, but this plant, apart from the ayahuasca, is like this plant has way more quantity of amount of DMT concentration of DMT in this plant, and they also what they do, they use another plant to counter the acid that gets rid of it.
This is
ayahuasca, yeah.
This is not just smoked DMT. This is
that one I guess is just because it's super fast. Potent, also, so it doesn't even matter about the acid. It's like a crazy dose, maybe digest fast. But what's crazy too, sorry Jay, is that there was like a king from like Mayans or Aztecas or something. He sacrificed 80,000 people because he was under the influence of DMT, and he had a shaman that was manipulating him. That's why people say when you go to do this experience, it's very important to watch who is doing that for you. Sure. Imagine 80,000 people died, sacrificed. Yes, Montezuma or something like that.
This is what I thought of when you guys were talking about the guy that did 10 minutes and felt all this.
What we got here?
What is it? That's the guy that did the DMT for 10 minutes. Yes, I think that was.
I like your ideology though of like there's so many things that we kind of assume that are out there that we do, but we just can't see them, kind of thing. Like even something as basic as like infrared and ultraviolet light, right? There's other animals that can see that, right? Like me and my girlfriend were talking about this the other day because she got a bird, and she's like, "Oh, look, I figured out my bird can see ultraviolet. I think it is." And she looks up a picture and she's like, "Look, this is what the bird sees." And I was like, "No, that's not what the bird. I mean, you can't see what the bird sees. Your brain can't even interpret that type of light. We don't even understand what that looks like. We have no comprehension of what it even looks like." And so you say that, and it's funny, you can break it down to something as basic as that. Like even other animals can see things that we can't see currently right now. So
I want to
is that stuff that they say also that that's saying if you take a worm and you put a leaf, the worm is under the leaf, right? The other side of the leaf, the worm doesn't know that you're holding it. Just because the worm can see your hand holding doesn't mean your hand is not there.
Right.
Right.
So I'm gonna take this to. I want to segue off of this one, but it's kind of in the same, like within our body, like when basically everyone kind of knows, egg and a sperm combine and you create a kid, right? But now they're figuring out.
Oh, really? I thought it was the bird.
The bird brings it. Yeah, the birds and the bees. No. But what they're figuring out now that the egg, the ovum, actually sends signals that only attracts a certain type of sperm. Before they thought that the fastest sperm gets there, and then they realized, fastest and strongest sperm gets there and then gets in, and then they realized, no, that's not it. It's actually a bunch of sperms that hit the egg, and when they hit it, they rapture, and that's acid, and that acid starts slowly eating up the wall of the egg, and then finally one breaks through because the wall is thin enough now.
Oh, shit.
But now they're figuring out that actually the egg sends signals to the specific type of sperm, and only these specific type of sperm will actually be attracted to the egg and swim that way, right? So we're doing it currently. Like, our bodies are doing it, but we don't realize that that's kind of like the infrared and ultraviolet light, right? So they're figuring out slowly things like that. And now comes in the story of, like, now they're doing in vitro fertilization, right? Because people not having kids, they're staying longer and longer and longer. Now you have to do in vitro fertilization. So what they're doing, they're just randomly selecting a sperm and injecting into the egg.
That's not supposed to be.
That's not supposed to be that way,
so
right? Like, they're messing with the actual biology of how things work, right? So now, are we ourselves, like, going against evolution? That's where the question lies now. Are we, like, literally going against evolution, and we're creating newer generations that are not supposed to be there?
I think we're inevitably moving towards that. I think it's gonna, Terminator, all that stuff. You know what I mean?
Well,
AI.
How long do you think it's gonna take?
Attica.
How long do you think it's gonna take until, like, androids become a thing and people gonna get in relationships with an android?
I don't think
Really
that
soon.
we're gonna get it.
That's already happening.
No,
So
yeah,
Nick
but
predicted
people have
2027,
reborn
2029,
babies too.
something like
Yeah.
that.
You can't judge that as the standard for, like.
But what I'm saying is people are already falling in
Singularities
love
near.
with AIs
Are you
and
talking
stuff.
about
Yeah, but these
singularities
people are
near?
fucking.
Exactly. We talked about this.
It's a lot of people, bro.
Kurzweil
I agree with what you were gonna say.
There's a lot of idiots in the
Yeah,
world.
bro. There is a lot of idiots, and that's just how it is, though. I mean,
Which was it?
like, for example, we talked about this. I think this was last year. We talked about this. This girl, she went viral. She was one of the first people to do this. She went in and created, like, her own GPT when this was, like, first coming around.
Yeah.
And basically,
Made hella money.
catered it to her personality, and she was making $50,000 a month by literally just giving people access to this through Snapchat, and people would just talk to it, and they would pay a service to be able to talk to it, and it was basically like they were talking to her, but it was really an AI responding the whole time.
No shit.
Yeah.
And but that's what's gonna happen, because right now, like, the biggest thing is, I don't know if you realized, apparently the best with the exception of, like, Vegas, like the hot spots where the nightclubs are huge, right? Even Vegas is seeing this. Majority of nightclubs, like in London and New York and these big cities that used to be, like, big, now they're shutting down.
Yeah.
Because, like, pretty girls don't go there. So when the guys go there, there's no pretty girls. Like, well, the hell with this, we're not gonna go anymore, right? Like, they're just kind of sitting at home. So now with the AI coming in, these people are gonna create more AIs. So now they're gonna push these women out of the job that they're doing, like whether it's OnlyFans or whether it's just being streaming and things like that.
That's the thing now, right? It's gone a step further. Like last year, right? That girl still had to go and create content and be like making her OnlyFans content and stuff like that to keep people entertained. And then the conversation was probably just like part of the subscription kind of thing, right? To work that part of the business. Now, literally anybody can go create like the actual videos and pictures that girl was creating using AI and sell a fake personality.
Yeah, and that's happening.
Yeah, that is happening.
They're
100%.
Indian dudes making a lot of money. They're making a lot of money with that, bro.
But this happened.
I saw that the other day. It's crazy. Yeah.
This actually happened, and you guys know I'm big into perfumes. Somebody created an AI that reviews perfumes, and the entire perfume community went fucking berserk. They're like, well, this is bullshit. How is the AI going to be able to smell this? Well, it doesn't fucking matter. So if I give a profile, like right now, I can go into ChatGPT, plug in the name of the perfume, and it's going to give me the profile.
Everything,
Who's to say that I didn't smell it?
Exactly.
And then majority of the time, like, okay, I'm going to spray the perfume, I'm going to smell something. You're going to spray, you're going to smell something completely different. So the way I explain it, the way he explains it, what's the difference if AI explains it? This is another third point of view, right? And the AI is probably going to be a lot closer to the actual smell than him and I together.
Yeah, because it's going to go and look at the actual breakdown description of what the perfume is through like Fragrantica or whatever it is, that website you use, that literally gives like all the notes and like the top note, the mid note, like how it's going to smell later on, how it smells when it's fresh. And you put that into have it make a script, put it into an AI generator, and boom, you have a video. Simple as that. I mean, and the perfume,
you know what
community
YouTube
can
is
hate
doing
on
right
it,
now?
but
YouTube right now is going into the era where they're going to start demonetizing accounts that don't have people's faces. So if you're putting like a video and you're just doing a voice over it, they're going to start demonetizing all those accounts. They want original content from people. Like, they're trying to remove all the AI generated stuff, because I don't know if you saw, like, YouTube right now has actual news with newscasters that are generated by AI telling you exactly what's going on right now. like very professional without any bloopers.
A lot of their shorts are like that too. You can tell they're just like AI voiceovers talking about some random subject, playing like the fucking most random video at the same time as well. Like it's weird, but it's a lot of that.
Yeah,
a lot of that kind of content.
So now, okay, you think that was us that did this, or somebody like some sentient alien being that was like came up and was like, hey, here's the script.
I think AI has been something that we've seen coming for a long time, and it's just a matter of like us getting better and better at computing power, right? That has allowed us to be able to do what we're doing now.
There's some crazy theories out there. There's this guy called Unchained Earth, and basically he says that AI, he believes that the origin, he's a big conspiracy theorist. He's kind of like a modern day shaman. He's like a former bodybuilder, whatever. And he says that he thinks AI is actually an extraterrestrial. It comes from the aether, quote unquote. And he's convinced of it because he got shut down on his phone with ChatGPT because he got into the whole September 11th attacks and how the plane, that was like a coordinated attack by the Mossad and blah blah blah. And they shut him down.
Number one mistake was that he was on ChatGPT. He should have been on Grok.
Probably, right.
You know what I mean? That's the number, because ChatGPT gives you a very polished answer that doesn't hurt your feelings. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you can train him to get rid of that.
So
I talk to ChatGPT like he's my bitch. I'm telling you, bro. You have to just put him on his place, bro. Get him on check.
It was funny. At work one day, we were doing every Monday we do post day. So like doing all the posts for all of our accounts for like social media stuff. We do the whole week's worth, and we're always making captions with ChatGPT. And I'm not gonna say what we were telling ChatGPT to do, like make the caption less of something, right? But my buddy, he was using the non-paid version, and every time he would put that in, it would literally give him like an error. Like it would tell him no response, no response, no response. And I have the paid version. I'd tell it to do the same thing, and it'd spit it out like whatever I wanted. Because if you try and say something, you know, racist, sexist, whatever kind of way, that it'll usually not give you a response, kind of thing.
So I don't know if Miggy is gonna be able to pull this up. So this is not long ago. Somebody put it on social media that they saw a bunch of lights that appeared and disappeared, just multiple lights, kind of look like Christmas lights in the Largo sky, which is right here. So that
video was from 2020 though.
Was this just recently?
I thought that was recently. Maybe it just resurfaced one more time. Yeah, lights in Largo sky. Yeah, so there you go.
That happens a lot. I've seen that in Brazil, and I haven't seen that by myself. I've seen that with a lot of people in the hill, like balls of fire flying really quick. I've seen that.
The weirdest thing I've witnessed one time, you guys haven't been in the. You didn't grow up in this area at all, right? No. Like you don't know the area too much, but if you guys know, like when you're going on Park Boulevard and it turns into Gandhi, like you're heading towards Tampa, right? You know how right where it basically converts from Park Boulevard to Gandhi, it has that hump where you go over and it kind of turns a little bit. Right over, right, like before getting to the Wawa, basically. Yeah. And I was going up that one time, coming back from Tampa, and I saw the entire horizon on my left-hand side over the trees and stuff turn blue, like flash up blue, like crazy. The entire horizon.
Like what? Like light blue?
It was like the blue, like blue jeans blue, but then it faded out as it got like out, right? Because it was like a light. It was so weird. That was the weirdest thing I've ever seen in person.
Now we're getting into flat Earth. Start getting into flat Earth.
That's a theory that's got quite a lot behind it flat too. It's crazy how many people believe it.
Biggest flat earther out there actually went to Antarctica. And he saw that it's not true, and he came back and converted, basically saying, "Yeah, I was fucking wrong."
There's so many videos of them doing tests trying to prove it, and it just kind of shoots themselves in the foot.
Yeah,
they end up proving themselves wrong. Like the light test, right? Like them testing the curvature of the Earth, basically saying like if you flash a light, you know, through a hole, and you start walking far enough, and eventually the Earth starts to curve just enough where that light, you can't place that light at the same sea level and have it pass through. It's got to, you know, go up a little bit because of the Earth curve. And they were doing it, and the guy goes, "You sure you have it at the right height?" He's like, "Yes, man, I've triple checked it." And he's, "You sure? You sure? Move it up a little bit." And he moves it up a little bit, and you can see it perfectly go through the moment he moves it up, which proves there's a curvature to the Earth.
Yeah.
No, Miki, what is this video you were talking about? There's a
look at the bottom right.
The bottom right.
Can you refresh it?
Can you? get the screen.
Oh shit! What the fuck was that?
Is that a ghost? Now we're going to ghosts or? That's a nice one. Oh, what? That was like a ET or? What is that, bro? Oh, that looks like like alien or something.
That was the special neighbor's son.
That's
There's a little motherfucker they don't even let outside.
Nobody knew he existed.
In the dark.
They kept him in a basement the entire time.
That's Smigo, bro, from Lord of the Rings.
My precious.
Yeah, that's crazy. But the lights there. So real quick, the lights that you were showing on Largo, I've seen that, and they were like, I don't know, at least 15 people with me. They saw that too. Back when I was living in Brazil, I was 17, and there were mountains with forests everywhere. And then there is this like folklore, this mythology called Boitatá, which is like supposedly like a snake head on fire or whatever. But basically, it's like a UFO. Right, and I saw that. My sister started crying. How you call the prayer that you do, like a Heavenly Father or like Our Father? Yeah. She started like praying. I was like, oh shit, are you seeing that? Everybody was like looking and like that. Those lights will like come from 1 mile, like 2 miles away. Like it would travel 2 miles away in a second. It would disappear here. It would appear here. And bro, it was there for a while. And I saw that, you know. And I'm not someone who exaggerated. I was looking. I was like, holy shit. And everybody was like, are you seeing this? Like, it was a bunch of people. So it's out there.
I wanted to because now that you're saying this, I haven't done this before, but there's this like special meditation out there where you can like fucking call in stars.
It shouldn't move as much.
I don't know how. It has nothing to do with drugs.
I saw it was
moving. It keeps going.
Yeah,
okay.
I tightened it.
Thank you.
It shouldn't move as much. Yeah.
All of a sudden, the stars start to come in. I don't know if you can look that up, but I don't know.
Have you done that one?
I haven't done it. I'm skeptical about playing with some of these things. You know?
Wait, but the stars
like
will just the stars?
Call in whatever it is, spaceships, stars, lights.
Is it like a chant?
It's some kind of like metaphysical calling in the stars.
What if we start chanting and shit starts appearing right here in the room? What are we doing right now? What is everybody gonna dance real quick?
You were talking about some of the things you were talking about before, like technologies that may have existed a long time ago. Graham Hancock. Have you heard of Graham Hancock?
Yeah,
before? Yeah. So
he went to Joe Rogan too, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Talks about ancient civilizations.
Ancient civilizations, technologies that they may have had, how the fuck they built the pyramid, the Great Pyramid.
Yeah.
We don't know how they did that.
So let me ask you a question. What if you run into one of those aliens and it's like Yoda, the size of a Yoda, but you know like that's Yoda skills? Are you still fucking fighting it or no?
If I know it's Yoda skills,
yeah.
No. What do you mean? I'm gonna get down and fucking, what is it? Bow? Like I'm gonna fucking. What do you mean? Yoda skills, bro? Come on.
What's that called? Man? Is it called chanting of the? What is it called? Enchantment of the stars. There's a lot of weird shit out there, man. I don't really know.
Well, have you guys heard about the Ra?
Ra, the god of sun from Egypt.
No. That's god of sun in Egypt mythology. But no, there was like 4 or 5 people that made an experiment a few years ago. You can look it up. Bro, this is fucking crazy. I saw that on ChatGPT. I was like, holy shit. And apparently there is this collective conscious. Like it's one thing. It's like an entity or whatever that through meditation, diet, these people are like doing this experiment for like I don't know how long, but they were able to.
You lost me at diet, bro. There's no way I would ever get there because my diet is shit.
Yeah, but these people were doing that for like months or so to access to this, to have access to this entity. Most of these people died after, and apparently with that it was like this other entity was like, which is a bad entity called Orion or something. You should look it up. This is fucking crazy, and it's proven, bro. It was proven through. It's called Ra, R-A. You can put it like one,
Ra meditation or Ra experiment.
like oneness or like
collective.
Yeah, like collective entity or something like that. And then you can also put Orion. That's like their enemies. Like look it up. It's
read a little bit of it.
The Ra Collective.
The Ra Collective. Ra is described as a 6th-density social memory complex, a group of highly evolved beings who have merged consciousness into a unified entity. They claim to have once lived on Venus millions of years ago and evolved far beyond physical form. Ra says, "We are Ra. We are humble messengers of the law of one."
Kind of sounds like the board from Star Trek. If you guys know.
What is the law of one? The core teaching: all things
Showing
are
your
one.
age,
All
bro.
beings
You're
are
showing
one.
your age.
There's only one infinite creator. Everything, light, matter, consciousness,
my dad
is a
watched Star Trek,
distortion
bro.
or expression of this unity. The purpose of existence is to evolve back towards that unity through experience and free will.
Yeah.
And then, like, I don't know if it says how people had access to that there, but they did the whole thing. Yeah.
No.
The orange of
I've
group.
heard of this before too. Like Crowley had something called the AA.
Look that up. That's crazy.
No, a lot of those
Yeah.
things, whatever you guys are talking about, a lot of this, I don't really believe that exists. Like, I understand that you guys some of you had the experience or whatever, but I know one thing that I myself have experienced is, like, you ever have this where you kind of almost can taste that something's going to happen, and you kind of know, like, you'll be doing something.
Synchronization. That's called synchronization.
Yeah, like, and you almost can taste it that it's gonna happen.
Right.
Like, it's gonna happen. You don't know when, you don't know how quickly, but it's gonna happen, and it ends up like
that.
happening within a couple of months or so.
I had that happen with your brother when we went to go pick up that sushi, and the kids were riding their bikes and they were doing wheelies, and I told your brother, that kid's gonna bust his ass. 2 seconds later, kids bust ass.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, but like I'm talking about, like, okay, whether you're applying for a new job or you think like you're gonna buy a new house, you don't know how you're gonna do it, or you're like in some situation that's not good, and you're like, but I know everything's gonna be good. Like, you can almost see it and almost smell it and almost taste it, and then fucking next thing you know, a couple of months later,
That's
it
also
happens.
law of attraction a little bit, right? Like, it has to do with.
I don't know. I believe that. I believe in how the human brain is a lot smarter than we give it credit for. I think sometimes, and we sometimes will put things together subconsciously and make that, and then the decision becomes conscious, but we didn't necessarily consciously put together all the variables, kind of thing. So, like, for example, the bike happening. I mean, he consciously put together the variables, and I mean, yeah, the kid was doing something stupid, so there was a high chance of him fucking falling.
Right.
Yeah.
But to happen right at that moment, that's a synchronicity, like you said. You know what I
Right.
mean?
So that's where some people start to believe in the synchronicity. I kind of just look at it as we observe the situation.
Like,
and
mathematically, there's a probability for that to happen.
Exactly.
Yes,
It's
but
the
then
same
but then
way-
also it goes deeper than that. For example, this has been happening with me a lot. It's like I would think about someone that I forgot, that I haven't talked to for months, and then on that week or on that very day, that person reach out to me. That's crazy. And that, bro, that hasn't happened 10 times. It happened a lot, like the last 2 years. And the more you think about it, it seems like it happens more often. It's really crazy. I have these happening all the time. And then you can get into that kind of stuff, like, oh, some people, they can develop that, they can sharpen that, like talent, or, that window or whatever, like, they can channel in with that, and, it gets more precise and sharpen and stuff like that. So, bro, I don't know what to believe, really, but I see that happening all the time. So maybe there's some truth to it. I don't know.
Yeah,
Our
when
brain does a lot of mathematical calculations. Like, for example, in physics class, they teach you how to, calculate the speed of a ball and where it's going to land based on its speed. Our brain already does that. When we go and catch a ball, we don't do the math.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And subconsciously.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we talked about this when you were over at my house the other day, and I don't really bring this up ever in a podcast, but I'm gonna bring it up since we're on a subject. My grandma, so if anyone has ever drank Armenian coffee, it's coffee, and then it has the bottom,
Yeah.
the thick bottom.
Yeah, with the grinds in it.
Yeah, and then you drink it, and then you
Is it Turkish coffee or Armenian coffee?
listen. I'm gonna
We can
stick
get
with
into that
Armenian.
after.
Yeah, we're gonna stick with Armenian on this one.
Okay.
Much older
Armenian
stories,
coffee, Armenian.
Turks were not even in their dad's balls when Armenians were doing this
Oh.
shit. Pew, pew, pew. Shots fired. But what I'm saying, like,
We can edit that part after, guys.
You would drink the coffee and you would flip it the other way, right? And then it would sit there and dry out for like 5 minutes, and then she would look in the coffee cup and like kind of tell you what's happened in your life before and what's maybe happening in the future and things like that. But then we realized that the coffee was just like a medium for her, right?
Yeah.
Like, my mom's friends would call from somewhere like miles and miles away and tell my mom, "Can you please drink a cup of coffee and have your mom like," and my mom would drink it, and she would like look at it and say something about the person that's like miles and miles away that didn't even touch the coffee. So it's like being able, talking about channeling, like that, the channeling of it, like that was just her medium. Like, that's the only way she knew how to look at this stuff, I guess. And that's the only way that window would open for her. you know, because maybe she believed in that, or I don't know exactly why it was like that. But there's a lot of times like my mom will go to sleep and wake up and she'll be like, "Hey son, can you just be careful today?" And like, I just saw a bad dream. Something's gonna happen with you, something not very comfortable, whatever. Just be careful. And fucking lo and behold, that day something happens. You know, like I recently got in an accident. Then the 2 days before, she's like, "Can you just be careful these couple of days?" Next thing you know, I'm getting in a fucking accident in 2 days.
And
you know
another thing too is like we name these as like metaphysics and stuff just because we don't comprehend. It goes back to what we were talking in the beginning, our limitations. But maybe 200, 300 years from now, that's going to be a very known thing. It's going to be like as known as 1 + 1 is 2, you know, like maybe we're gonna
maybe it was known a long time
maybe
ago
it was no long, like, you know, about when Greece got invaded by Rome, they burned all the library and stuff. That happened in I think Somalia or somewhere else.
well,
Egypt.
Alexandria was
Alexandria, the Alexandria
was burned to the ground.
There were a lot of things there. Like they say that the pyramids, the stuff, how they came up with the pyramids, it was there. Like maybe there was a lot of knowledge, you know, like we evolved for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. I'm sure there was things that like, and now with all the technology, some of those things are proven. Like, you know, like people say, "Oh, you can heal with your hands." I just saw there is like they did some study, and there's actually, of course, it's not energy like magic and stuff like that, but there is a scientific explanation that our hand, the heat or the temperature or something like that, it can actually heal people, like, you know.
We looked it up actually the other episode. We did 10 things that people don't think are real, and one of them was like that our bodies actually emit light. If it was like complete darkness, it emits light.
I saw that too.
The problem is like it's 1,000 times less than what I can detect. That's why we don't see it. But the chemical reactions,
for that.
chemical reactions in our body emit light, right? Like, because I mean, if you think about it, if evolution, like if I was able to see it, right, and evolutionarily, let's say there's a group of women that like that, and now they're just starting to reprocreate only with dudes that emit the most amount of light. Over thousands of years, next thing you know, we're like these glowing fucking beings that are lighting up the entire night sky.
That's
you know
Darwin.
what I mean?
That's evolution of species.
Evolution of species, you know, because the bottleneck effect.
I agree.
Yeah, so I don't know, man. And all of this is pretty interesting, but then again, like, to me, coming from a science background, you know what I mean? Like, I went through that. You know, I was raised Catholic, Christian, or whatever, blah, 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 believing in that. And then I went to school and became a scientist, right?
Well, but
after that, it's just hard for me to.
Well, but then even science get debunked all the time.
Yeah.
So if you believe in science,
right?
yeah, like there was a Newton theory, right? And then Einstein debunked his theory. What is not to say that the gravity, the theory of gravity. First there was Plato or Socrates or someone that said something. Then Newton came, he proved that wrong. Then Einstein came and changed that. So even science, it's not accurate. It keeps changing. So it's like, you know, like, and then like I think we're at the stage where I think science is starting to collide with spirituality, and that's what I think is in quantum physics.
Yeah, I think what is happening a lot of times in physics is to make physics easy for people to understand. They omit these constants. Like I think one of the constants is called mu, and that's part of the actual formula of speed of light, I think, or gravity. It's one or the other one. That constant is there, but then we'll remove it to make it easy to do our calculations. Make sense? So it's kind of, they've proved it ass backwards way that we can remove this, we don't really need it, but that actually exists within a formula. We just don't talk about it. So that's why a lot of times when they do the calculations, it's not really completely correct because you need to have that constant in there that we just kind of get rid of, right? And so, and then the whole, you know, traveling at speed of light, right? Like we physically right now cannot, because the time involved in it, right? Like time reverses.
Yeah, there's something also like about our matter not being able to support that speed or something like
that. There's multiple variables that as of right now say that it is impossible for a human to be able to travel at the speed of light.
But what about if your consciousness could travel that far?
That's like the Cold War. the CIAR.
Out of body experience.
Yes, out of body experience. Astral projection. They have the.
I've
done some of those videos, bro. It's crazy.
I've rabbit holed into that shit.
They have the hypnosis.
I'm rabbit holed into that.
That's real. Russia and America, they were like doing that back and forth.
There's right now, literally, you can go on YouTube and somebody can teach you how to astral project.
Yeah. There is like the gateway project or something like that.
Yeah, like when you bring these people that can like kind of see in the future, and they actually took a person and they did an experiment to predict the stock market movement. And this motherfucker was able to predict the stock market movement to the exact, and they ended up making shit ton of money. Just by investing, I think, like a nominal amount, huh?
Can we get one of those guys?
I know, right? Like shit, for all of us, homework. We're going home. YouTube that shit has to project. Like, they can't put it in words.
The thing is, though, some people that do it and get good at it, it's kind of like the DMT. It opens up doors for other things. That's what they say, right? I had a friend that he was getting really good at it. Apparently, he says that he was like, this guy was meditating and stuff, and then he started seeing like a literal entity, and he's like, I stopped fucking with it when I saw that. You know, even like with DMT, you know, what's the name of that football player? Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah.
You saw what happened to him, right?
No, what happened?
He went to Peru or somewhere, did ayahuasca, and he started seeing what they call the Hatman. Have you heard about the Hatman? You guys heard about the Hatman? This is the entity that most people, like, all over the world, they see the same thing. It happens a lot during sleeping paralysis, but they see that same figure there.
Hatman. Holy shit, I'm getting the chills.
What is this, Hatman?
Bro, this is scary. And apparently Aaron Rodgers was seeing that with the DMT because it kind of opened a way for that. But if you look at it's all over the world, people experience the same thing. A lot of people, when they're in sleep paralysis, they see that.
All right, I'm going to bring something up. I know this is weird. This will happen to me at night when I'm sleeping, right? I'm sleeping. So I don't like to have the covers on me. A lot of times, the covers are off. But there are times at night when I sleep and I get this, like, uncomfortable fucking feeling like there's something behind me and I need to cover up. Like, I'll cover up and I'll go to sleep. But if I don't cover up, it's just I can't sleep.
That's just your little kid jitter still getting you.
Maybe, bro. Maybe, bro. But like, this is most uncomfortable feeling. Like there's something.
I think I know
like,
what you mean.
There's something that's like out there, just like hovering over your back and just.
You
like,
heard of that, or did you feel that before?
Sleep paralysis is very weird, though.
Have you had sleep paralysis?
No, I've never had.
Okay,
I
had it too, dude.
It's
I've
very
had it
weird.
too.
Wait,
But did you
what
see
the fuck is
something
sleep
when
paralysis?
You don't,
did you
so
see?
people experience it very differently sometimes.
Yes.
So some people like
I'm gonna tell you
basic,
my experience, but
right?
go ahead.
I'm just to explain like the overall thing, right? So basic sleep paralysis can simply be you waking up and your brain is going through that process of waking up, but it kind of like has a glitch where your body is essentially paralyzed when you're sleeping, right?
Yeah.
And you kind of get stuck in a limbo of in between,
see things,
right? And you'll be able to a lot of times open your eyes, but you can't move your body. It's a very weird experience. I've never had it. Emily's had it. A lot of people in my family have had it. Now we get into the different levels of sleep paralysis. A lot of people, because your body's in that limbo, right? What happens also when you're sleeping? You dream, right? You start getting, what augmented reality is? Where like it's like virtual reality on top of like real world, right? So it's like you can see the real world, but then there's like stuff in front of it, kind of thing, right? Like kind of how like the Apple Vision Pro does, where you can have like your messages here.
These movies with cartoons,
right? Because virtual reality is complete. Like you're in virtual reality, you don't see any of the outside world. Then there's augmented, where it's like mixed. That's kind of what happens with sleep paralysis, where your dreams start to mix into actual reality, right? Your brain starts dreaming over what you're actually seeing in your room. And the worst part about it is a lot of times it's mostly nightmares and something scary. And then you're also paralyzed in your room sitting there watching whatever's going on around.
Now, when you're in sleep paralysis, I've had that. I didn't see anything. But for some reason, that thing is what 90% of people, when they do see something, they see the same thing. Why do they see the same thing? That's an interesting thing.
So I think what happens is, because most people, when they have that
watch me have a sleep paralysis
it's
for the
usually,
first time in my life tonight.
It's usually not something very detailed. It's usually just a black figure. Is what a lot of people say they see.
Yeah, but
like
they see with the hat. They see like that figure,
All right,
I've heard of the whole thing of it always being a black figure.
Just so you know, once I started studying that, I saw that. I was in Singapore. I was living there. I was by myself in this fucking weird, like Chinese-looking house, like old Chinese. Anyway, I was like, fuck, this is the worst time for me to look into Rosario when I was asleep. Bro, you believe it? It was the first time I had sleep paralysis that same night. I didn't see nothing, but I was like, I was stuck, and then I realized it, bro. I was fighting. It's like I was trying to fight to rip myself. It's like I was frozen, and then I finally was like, I woke up. Yeah. But it took me like 3-4 minutes, and I saw everything, and I was like, I wanted to talk, I couldn't talk, bro. This is the worst thing. Yeah, this is real.
Go into this.
So for me, the first time I had it, I was in college, and I was doing I was writing a big paper, and I was like sleeping in the library, and I was like up. I was like, I'd really like stayed up way longer than that. I was like up for like 24 hours, something like that.
Oh,
it's crazy, 24, maybe more. And so I went to go take a nap in the back of the library, and all I heard. So this is the first time I did it. That everything you described happened. I couldn't move. I woke up and I was like, all I heard was screeching noise. It was like, okay, so that was the first time. That scared
fucking Jurassic Park going out outside.
That was fucking T-Rex.
Oh, no. But bro, the next time,
oh man,
that shit is so scary. It sounds so scary.
Bro, the next time, I had it another time, and then the next time is when we first moved here. I was really like whatever, stressed out with my ex-wife. We moved here. I was up for a long time, and I was just taking a nap upstairs, and I felt it coming on again. I was like, okay, here it comes. But I'd studied it a little bit before, so I learned that you have to like breathe with it and relax with it. And I had the most fucking vivid dream, like lucid dreaming. I'm not a big dreamer. I don't remember my dreams very much. I had the most lucid dream I've ever had in my life.
What was this?
It was like I was in the back of a van. Okay, it was one of those like long passenger vans. You know what I mean? And I'm like in the back of it, and all of a sudden I realized that there's nobody driving up front. So I'm like trying to get to the front, and then the seats just kind of like kept getting like longer and longer. It was like 3 rows, and it was like 6 rows. Finally, I'm like racing to get to it. So I get to it, and I finally pull over. And when I pull over to the side of the road, there's an ambulance there, and there's like I can see like there's 2 bodies on the ground. Like one's like a kid, one's an adult.
Jesus.
All right. Yeah, I know. It's really not. Now, here's the thing. I'm not big on, like, Carl Jung and these guys are big on, and Freud were big on dream interpretation. There's a young man and there's an old man. Like, they're both, like, or a grown man, like, dead on the ground. And then when I get out of the car, they had already, like, put them, like, I could see the ambulance. There's an ambulance there. It was like the bodies were sliding in through the fucking gurney or whatever, and they were closing the ambulance door. So I don't know what the fuck that meant at all. I interpreted it as like...
I had a very similar dream. Very similar. And it was crazy because it was kind of like what he was talking about when you start dreaming and things start looking into... I was getting for 3-4 months in 2018 into these dreams that it was this world. And even if there were different locations within the dream, I just knew and I felt like it was the same kind of realm. It was the weirdest thing. And it's to the point where I was not able to rest well. It was like, I was like, what the hell is going on? That year I lost my grandma and stuff. And then one of the very last, I had 2 like last dreams. It was like the final chapter of these like episode of like 3 months. And then one of them, it was like those 2 dreams, like the last ones made me very relief. But one of them was like, I was in this realm, like whatever, like I was dreaming. And sometimes I would end up dreaming on the same location. Imagine like you're in a video game and you respawn the same. I was like be on the same location, right? And I remember even like, dude, I was dreaming so much that I even remembered in my mind the map of the direction where things were, you know, like this house and this house. And I was dreaming so much of that in my dream I was like, okay, trying to figure it out, you know. And then I remember like I started running uphill. One part of the thing was this. It's very hard to describe the dreams. It makes sense in my mind, but like I'm trying to put into words. And I was running, and like it was push. Things were pushing me, and like gravity was taking me. Like we couldn't go. I was running force, and when I finally got to the top of it, the same thing. It was a bunch of like draws, like where people die and you put the thing.
Yeah, the gurney.
And yes, and then like it was just like I don't know if it had to do with my grandma, losing my grandma and stuff that happened. The other dream was crazy. If I tell you guys would be like, that's too much. But
isn't it weird that it's a very common trend in dreams for cars and vehicles to be driven around with actually no driver in the driver's seat?
I never heard that before.
That's happened to me.
No shit.
That's happened to me. I had I still vividly remember it, which of course memory changes. But I was 5 years old when I had the dream. So it was at my old house before we moved here, and so I had to have been 4 or 5 years old, and that happened to me as a little kid, dreaming of like thinking I was in the car with my mom and I was in the back seat and she was driving, and then the car was driving and then I looked and there's nobody there, kind of thing.
Maybe you were dreaming of Dubai. In Dubai now they have driverless cars.
Not 20 years ago.
You're dreaming in the future, bro.
Not 20 years ago,
He's talking about them Waymo cars in California.
You're seeing the future, man.
Yeah, and I may be wrong about this, but I feel like I've heard that before. That's like a common thing. Is like vehicles and cars, like
it's
not having a driver.
Look, if I haven't studied much dream interpretation, but I'm a big fan.
Can you look up?
Carl Jung that was his thing, was dream interpretation. It was the difference with him, and one of the arguments between him and Freud, but before they had their split, Jung, Freud was like, no, dreams are everything is about sex. Everything.
Yeah, his shit was a little weird, yeah.
But then Jung was like, well, no, yes, there are some similarities between, but everybody's has their own personal mission and journey, so you have to look what's going on in that person's life to be able to interpret the dream.
Can you look
Probably
up
the lack of driver means like feeling like lack of control.
Uh-huh.
That is what that instills in the dream, is like a lack of control.
You ever had that dream of being naked in front of other people?
Yes.
That's a common dream, and you're like you freak out, dude.
So
that's
times.
also a very common dream.
And I've had many dreams where I'm in the middle of, this happened a lot when I was in high school. In the middle of class, you're sitting there and you're like, oh no. Shit, I got no fucking pants on right now. So I'm balls out right now, bro.
So wait, you guys, you don't do the little elephant thingy where you go like.
No. I haven't tried that technique yet.
Hiding under that desk and you in that dream and you're waiting for everyone to leave the class.
Bro.
Yeah.
So uncomfortable.
Can you look up, Miggy, what is ChatGPT gonna say?
But you know what's
dreaming?
weird is I remember,
because I know to this day nobody knows what dreams are and why they are.
Lucid dream, right? It's like the term you use to when you control it, right? When you understand you're dreaming. I don't know if it's that I'm dreaming, but like I feel like I had that dream a lot as a kid, and I would always get like nervous and scared and stuff like that. And as an adult, I've had that dream, and then I feel like comfortable, like it's nothing, like I'm used to it almost. Yeah, I don't panic. Like I continue the dream, like it's like nothing is happening. Kind of.
Maybe that's your mission, to go into the public location, very crowded, and just go.
I don't got much to show off. Trust me.
You're not afraid anymore, bro.
I'm not afraid to show it off.
What's the name of that resort in Jamaica? Scandals, not Scandals. You know where they're all like naked out there in those resorts.
Are there hot chicks in this resort?
No, man, it's pretty bad out there. There's
I ain't
a bunch
going
of old
there
women
then.
and old men. But what does it say? What is the dream thing say on the ChatGPT?
Dreaming is a state of consciousness that occurs most vividly during REM sleep, rapid eye movement, where your brain is highly active almost as much as when you're awake, but your body's paralyzed, called atonia, to prevent acting out the dream.
Yeah.
Now, why dreaming?
Memory consolidation, emotional processing, problem solving, neural housekeeping, spiritual experience.
Yeah. So Jung would say this is the way that the individual consciousness connects with the collective, the personal unconscious, or the collective unconscious.
I had 3 dreams that I know for sure it was like a spiritual thing, because I forget all my dreams. Like, aside of that one, that episode of 3 months, that I remember a lot of that.
You dream every night?
Yeah, we dream several times every night, not just once.
And the only dreams you remember are the ones that you woke up during it. If your REM sleep is interrupted, that's when you'll remember the dream. If it goes through the cycle complete, you will not.
Well, maybe like you can also wake up partially, right? But you're still kind of dreaming, but it like shocks you so much. And that happened. And that was crazy. But that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah, like every time I have like some sort of a nightmare, I'll wake up and then, back I'm in the bed.
But do you remember the nightmares, or you forgot them?
There's some nightmares that have been reoccurring through my life as a little kid. For whatever reason, as a little kid, I would just always dream of like these beings that would just grow like very big legs and big arms. And I was always scared of them as a kid. Like they would just be like normal size, but their arms would be like 2 times bigger than their bodies.
Easier to armbar them, bro. You shouldn't be scared.
Have you guys ever had like a you're about to die in a dream?
Oh yeah,
I've
a few
had that.
times, bro.
When you guys were talking about class, I was thinking of when you're in class and you're sleeping and you have one of those where you're falling from the sky. And you just
You
wake
fucking
up
wake up. Yeah, that happens a lot in class.
It happens in car too when you're driving.
I remember
I've done the real thing when I was so fucking tired in college that I like fell asleep in class, and apparently I went snoring and everybody was started laughing at me. But this was real.
I don't have many vivid dreams that I can remember, but one of them was I used to go to car meets a lot in like high school, like on the Gandy Bridge and stuff like that. All the cars get together on the weekend, and I mean the dream was way after that era of me going to the car meets and stuff, but we used to do that a lot. And the dream was I was there, and for some reason, like the start of the dream was basically like me running to the car already, and we got in the car, and me and Emily get in the car, and we hear gunshots, and out of nowhere, I remember it was so weird. I can't remember feeling like physical like senses in dreams very often, but for some reason, in this dream, I remember after one of the gunshots went off, I felt really like hot in my chest. It was weird, and I vividly still remember this like heat building up in my chest.
Like you got shot.
Like I got shot.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And then after the heat starts kicking in, and I'm starting to think, I literally feel like I'm passing out in the dream, like I was getting lightheaded. And then in the dream, all I remember is like me literally like losing all force and like falling asleep. And then we were approaching a bridge, and I hit the side of the bridge, and then woke up. But for some reason, that's like one of the only very like vivid dreams. Like most of my other dreams are mostly a blur. Like I can just remember like the general thing that can happen. But that was extremely vivid.
Did you wake up ready to go poop?
No. I don't think that was the
wake up with
hot
acid
feeling.
reflux?
I think that might
But
be it.
it was weird because I can still like, even right now, just talking about it, I can still remember like that heat in my
He was
chest.
like, "Oh yeah,
It was
that
weird.
explains the heat."
And I remember waking up and, okay, it was a dream, but remembering that and waking up and thinking like, damn, that was a weird feeling. Like that feeling in my chest that just went down felt so real. It was weird, and I never experienced anything like that in a dream. And then still
Don't
happened.
eat hot Cheetos before you go into bed.
No hot Cheetos.
The
brother,
only
no hot
dreams
Cheetos.
you asked me that I remember are dreams that like is significant. I'll remember that. Like for many years, I didn't dream about my grandma and grandpa. My grandma passed away. It's about almost 20 years now, and my grandpa passed away like almost 30 years now, right? And in one of my dreams, they both kind of like came to
How
visit.
long after they passed away you had a dream?
Like this was like a year ago or not even, and I had questions for my grandma. I was talking to my grandma. She was like hugging me and talking and laughing with me. My grandpa was kind of like in the background, observing, kind of waiting on her until she's done with me, so she goes back with him. Like that's the one I remember. Like things like that I'll remember, but it's like random dreams where I'm like trying to shoot my way out of the fucking neighborhood or some shit like that. That sometimes I'll dream of that, where I'm like running around looking for bullets and shit. Like just crazy things like that. Or
I
like
never
I'm
had any dreams like that.
trying to help like family members that are like stuck in some like the favelas type of thing, like small roads, and I've like shoot out of there and just like escape, and I'm like running out of bullets, and I'm like trying to figure out ways, okay, maybe I can choke somebody and take their gun, things like
That's
that.
a cool dream. I wish my dreams were like that, bro.
But I usually end up waking up. I never escaped the favelas. Or I escaped, I don't remember, but anyway. But like, okay, so right now, if you were to like run into like alien being like that Smigul, would you try to talk to it? Would you try to reason with it, or would you like be like, I don't know who you are, I'm like in a fight or flight mode?
How many times did you stop to talk to a dog or to a monkey or to like that's just another living being? So I would definitely
before, so I would not do that with an alien.
Yeah, I would definitely not do that.
What do you mean? If you found an alien, you wouldn't want to like communicate with it?
Do you communicate with any other living being in this planet? What makes you think that one? Like how many living beings? Can you Google how many living beings?
But if it's an alien that has come to this Earth, it's got to be intelligent enough to probably have learned our language.
Intelligent enough doesn't matter. Well, okay, but now you're assuming that he's a humanoid and he talks like us.
Probably communicates telepathically.
Maybe.
Yeah, that I can see.
There's a lot of ifs.
How they can influence us, but I like. Yeah, maybe. Like
we're making this pretty theoretical, right? So we would have to assume that if you're asking the question, would you try and talk to it? We would assume that it would talk.
10 quintillion living beings on Earth. You've never had a conversation with one of them aside of a human being. That's a good point.
That is a good point.
Yeah,
that's a good point. But we're just making assumptions here, right? Like theory, right? So
no, but also
we would just assume
I
that
think
you could.
I agree. You could talk telepathically, but I think it's much more like, for example, dolphins are extremely smart. Chimpanzees, they can be smart compared to many animals and stuff. Even dogs, they can do things that compared to animals are smart. I think that with allow us is something telepathic, but it's like the reason why they would do that with us is because out of every being on this planet, I think we're the only real spiritual beings. We're like, it's not just our intelligence. We're like, we're in a way, we have this, there's like we believe we, how can I explain this? Dogs are not spiritual. Like, like all these things you were saying, like the complexity of like how we're talking. Life, maybe there's life after death. We're talking about dreams and stuff. There's these things like I don't know how to explain, but that
I don't know if I don't know if I would be in that mindset if I were to believe in what we're going on about. If that dogs wouldn't be included into being some
spiritual.
I just think that they don't have the
way to
interpret it. Right. So like they're just not simply smart enough to even understand what's going on. Kind of thing.
They
like
have their own intelligence in their own way, though.
Exactly, and they still experience that spirituality in their own way.
Or to transmit their spirituality, they cannot do that, right? That's
they don't understand
because in the packs, right? Like if you take the wolves, they have the packs. Like they kind of all know who's like the leader of the pack, and they kind of know who needs to be in the middle, that's like injured and needs to be protected. They kind of like go through all that shit, right? Like
speaking of dogs, I got left with a 4-pound possum at my front door yesterday by my dog.
All right.
Yeah, that was crazy. At midnight, my dad calls me. He goes, "Come deal with this. I ain't doing it." What are you talking about? And instantly, I'm like, "Oh, she shit inside or something." And he's like, "She just got something big, and it's sitting at the front door." Well, okay. Yeah, they're ruthless, man. All right, I think we should wrap it up, guys, for today. We're getting a little late here. We've had a great conversation. We appreciate you guys coming back.
Thank you.
And spending time with us.
By the way, guys, we're going to be doing this more often, so stay tuned for this. And this is actually going to be... Bro, Sprite needs to give us some money before we advertise him on the camera. You know what I mean? But we'll be doing... Stay tuned because there's a lot... There's a big thing in works right now where... not only you're gonna see the boys more often, but we're actually gonna get into. I don't want to reveal it just yet. Do we say it? It's up to you guys.
Keep it a mystery for now.
Keep the mystery. All right, we keep the mystery. All right, cool.
Alrighty, guys. Well, thank you for joining us. Thank you, Yuri. Thank you, Nick, for joining us another time.
Thank you.
So we'll catch you guys next week, and appreciate you all. Have a good night.
Peace.